Howdy guys, what's up? It's Sarah here, and today I'm going to teach you some basics on drawing in Photoshop. So, first thing we're going to do is go up and make our file. So, we'll call it File. I have all these set up really high, so if your computer's not doing so hot, maybe bring this down to, I don't know, 2000 or maybe even 150 or 1500, not 150. Put the resolution down to 150. Screen is 72, but printing is like maybe 200. So it just depends on what you want to do with it. If you're just leaving it on the screen, then stay with 72 if your computer's not great. But 300 will mean that it will print really nicely, so just, it's up to you. So these are usually my standard because, you know, I built this computer to do stuff awesomely, and hell yeah, it's gonna be able to handle a file. So, this file exactly. Anyway, first thing we're going to start out with is brushes. I have mine set to something weird because I was just drawing a different picture. New thing in Photoshop, this little brush thing, I don't know if I like it yet. I haven't really tested it out too much, so we're not going to use that. We're not even going to bother with that. I usually set it to Shape Dynamics as pen pressure, and transfer, I usually set to opacity jitter. I don't really use flow too much, so why even confuse the computer with it? Quick note is that I can change the hardness and softness of the brush by hitting my bracket buttons. So I'll draw those on here. And shift, so shift plus these changes from this to that. Also, just these are going to change it from this to this. So fun fact that most people don't know about, brackets actually do something in Photoshop, which is really fun and so easy to use. Also, alt-clicking will be your eyedropper tool, and that's a spring-loaded button, kind of like the spacebar pan, so that's kind of a fun thing as well. So I guess we'll just, I mean, I really don't know what you guys want to learn, but I'll have to set that back to normal. That's another thing that's really cool in Photoshop now. We got this new, I guess it's not really new, it's new to me to use, but it's not actually new. It's, actually, there is something cool that I found is this behind mode, and that means that if you draw something, and you're like, oh, I want to put it behind it, but I don't want to make a new layer, because I'm lazy. So you hit this behind button, and it knows. It's so smart. Right, so I was being distracted. So what we're going to do is we're just going to start off with, I'm just going to draw a kitty for now. You guys can probably get the gist of how to draw based on me drawing this kitty. There are a bunch of different ways to actually do this. I'm going to show you my cartoony way, which is just doing the sketch, doing the line art, and doing the colors, and then the shading and background. So that's the order I do it in. It usually goes okay for me. I just hit Control Z there. Don't freak out. It's like, oh, the computer forgot to record that terrible stroke. Don't worry, it's okay. Some things that I did want to address in this is that I will be making heavy use of the multiply, even though I can get the colors on my own if I want to shade really well, but it's just it's easier to teach it if I just use the multiply button, and it's just easier for me to do. So we got the kitty here. Now, if you're using a mouse, my suggestion is that you don't even bother with sketching on the computer. I'd say just scan in your sketch and go from there, because if you don't want to invest in a tablet, then you aren't going to be able to sketch with a mouse as well, or as fast. I mean, I've seen people do wondrous things with mice, but it's just not time efficient, I guess. So we'll go over here, make my new layer. Here, I'll actually be good at this. So what I usually do is turn down the opacity, zoom in for specificity. So this is 100% of the file. So that means that it's going to be really high quality when we shrink it down, and that's how that's how most people get their lines so thin and so accurate. It's because all their mistakes are at high resolution, and so when it's put down to a normal resolution, you don't even see them, which is a fun tip I learned a while back, and I've been using it ever since. So always start your image like at least 1.3 times the size of what you want it to be in the end. That'll give it a noticeable better kind of like, it just makes it look better, I think. So I'm going to be really lazy with line art. Usually I pick a smaller brush because I don't like thick lines, but for the purpose of this, I think thick lines are okay since it's a cartoony kitty cat, which is totally fine with me. And I'm sorry if my speaking voice is not that beautiful, as it usually is. You know how glorious my speaking voice is. I'm coming down with a little bit of a cold, so we'll just deal with that. As long as I'm not coughing, I think we should be good. So I'm going to try to get this done within 15 minutes is my cap, I think. I don't know, but I'm going to speed right through this. Another thing you might want to take into account is that I accidentally left on my opacity jitter, and that means that the pen pressure is going to be, I guess, it's going to affect both the size and the opacity of the strokes. So you can see that like I have these lighter opacity strokes with less pen pressure, which is okay for now because I'm not doing like a real image. But usually when I do my line art, I like to have it all 100% opacity so that I don't run into any discontinuity when I'm putting down the color below it, because that just looks it makes it look a little bit sloppier. But it's okay because clearly I'm not going for, I guess, perfection at this point. I'm just trying to get down the basics. So almost done. Gonna get the tail in. It's the kitty cat. I mean, I guess it's not necessary for the cat to have a tail, but all the cats I've ever owned had tails. I mean, they help them balance and stuff. I guess I could get a lynx or something. I don't know. I don't really think I'm gonna own any cats when I grow up. I mean, I'm in a dorm now, so I guess owning a cat really isn't the highest priority at this point. Right now I'm going back and trying to color in all my lines, just to make sure that I don't have any gaps, because otherwise this next trick won't really work so well. So I'm gonna do my best to color in all the gaps. And if your style is just not to have it like perfect, then that's cool too. Again, there are like hundreds of different ways to do a picture. This is just mine. Going on 8 minutes. I can do better.